Back row ministry, the world premiere. Sun got all in my face. Don't you hate that when you're trying to shoot a video and the sun gets in your face? I don't have a classy studio. I only have the Kia Optima studio, so it's not classy like some of the people that put content on YouTube. Yet, content nonetheless, no matter in what form, we will give it to you. Sunny day out here in New Jersey, but cold. 38 degrees, man. The winter time's back. I hate the winter. I'm not a big fan, but it is what it is. You bundle up, stay warm, get to, rock some tight sweaters, take off some ties for a minute and look cold, look cool. So it works. LeBron James is back. Yes, that's what he is. LeBron James. For all you LeBron lovers. LeBron reminds me, if you ever saw the 5 Heartbeats, there was a character in the 5 Heartbeats. This was a Robert Townsend movie for those who know their movies. It's a character in the 5 Heartbeats called Flash. And Flash starts off, when the 5 Heartbeats start off, he's already got some momentum. He's already going to be a big R&B star. He starts off in a group called the Ebony Spartans, and his career is going good. And then he jumps to join the 5 Heartbeats when their lead singer had some drug issues. Then, while their career is going good, they're about to win a Grammy, he jumps and leaves them and goes solo. And by the end of the movie, he's performing with a group that the 5 Heartbeats wouldn't get a song to way before their career starts, and he's totally sold out. That's LeBron James. He's another Flash. He's Flash of the Ebony Spartans. He pimps himself out from one team, one situation to the next. Some people will say, oh, well, he has the right to go where he wants to go. He is the NBA hoe. I'm sorry to say, LeBron is the NBA hoe. Set in LA because ticket sales were down. They had one of the biggest contracts, television contracts there is. Television viewership was down, so let's bring in LeBron to see if we can get people to stay up at 10:30 at night to watch the Lakers. I'm not staying up at 10:30 at night to watch the Lakers. I don't like the Lakers. I never have liked the Lakers. It doesn't matter if LeBron's on it. It doesn't really matter. No one's going to stay up all that time to watch LeBron. So LeBron makes this big pimped out move because he's the NBA's whore. And they just move him wherever the fuck they need to move him. Fans go crazy as they usually do. They put all this vestation into one man. LeBron is not Michael Jordan. He never will be. I've said this before. Michael Jordan stayed in Chicago pretty much his whole career. He moved. He had to move to Washington, a little move to that was really his last move. But, he knew when his career was over. He knew when it was over. But for LeBron, he'll probably do this 1 or 2 more times, just chasing titles in different cities. And, it's to the point that it's kind of boring. And I told people in Cleveland that LeBron would leave them after he wrote all those great love letters and blue, 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 and I love you, and just to show what type of motherfucker he really was. And now in Cleveland, they see who he fucking really was. He was never loyal to that city. He lied to the people of that city because that was what he was told to do. Lie to the fans, tell them you care about Cleveland, this is why you come back, we'll give them a title to pacify them, and then you go to LA and leave them in the position they were in before you got there. A sorry team with no superstar, basically losing games. And when they did try to have some superstars, they brought LeBron back to mess it up for the fans of Cleveland, because Kyrie was on his way to really, really being a superstar in Cleveland, and they didn't want that. They messed it up. So now Cleveland has to go back to the beginning of the drawing board, where they probably won't see a championship for another 25, 30, 40 years. Who knows? But they got pimped out and holed out by LeBron James. Hey, at least y'all had a big parade. But LeBron and Portland played last night. And 2 things that have already, kind of caught me in this season as we kind of see the script. And I want people this season to actually get on the gematria calculator, look at date duration. I want you guys to look at date duration and catch the numerology for that day. There's, You always can see when you go to date duration, you'll see the numerology for the day. So you see the numbers for the day. This has been going on for a long period of time. Ever since the running of the numbers, this is how they really have done it. They've utilized gematria. This is their science. This is how they pick the numbers for the day. So go to the date durations in gematrianator.com and look at all the numbers. And I want you to go to the 17th and the 16th, if you have an opportunity to look at it, and look at some of the numbers, and then look at 2 games. I want you to look at the Charlotte Hornets game, the final score in that game, and I want you to look at the final score in last night's game between Lebron and the Portland Trail Blazers. And you're gonna notice something, that Portland won by a numerology number for the day. So the number was 128 yesterday. Portland had 128 points. That was what they won by. Charlotte lost on the 16th. They had 112 points. 112 was one of the numbers for the day, for that day. So pretty much, even in basketball, a lot of people say, well, in basketball, you know, they can't rig basketball. They can rig the shit out of basketball. Basketball is the easiest sport to rig. It's the easiest sport to rig because these guys are trained to miss. They're not trained to make, they're trained to miss. They're trained to miss. And if you watch Kyrie Leonard when he went to San Antonio, when he missed that free throw that year, they were told to sell out to LeBron in Miami, and Miami came back with this heroic comeback. They were told, they told that young man to sell out. That's why he was on the bench crying. He wasn't on the bench crying because he missed the shot. He was on the bench crying because he was told to miss the shot. Remember how, if you go back to watch replays of how upset he was told to miss the shot. Everybody was trying to condone him, but, you know, he didn't understand that this is what he signed up for. That boy is a very humble young man, and to be told and realize that everything you believe is bullshit, I mean, you know, it's a shock to the system. And he was told to miss a free throw that, you know, he's an 80% free throw shooter. You don't miss free throws. But he was told to. You got to miss this free throw. He didn't want to. He was tempted to hit it. God knows what they told that young man, who they threatened. But they made him miss. So in basketball, it's easy to point shade game. They've been doing this for decades in basketball. Easy to point shade games. You might see sometime in basketball they have the long stretches where everybody's shooting all these bricks or nobody turnover after turnover. That's because they're trying to keep the point spread. In basketball, you know, any guy you ask who's played either college basketball or in the pros will tell you how they keep the point spread. I've known people who played in these sports will tell you straight up, they're told to do certain things. This is not fiction, ladies and gentlemen. I think people want this to be fiction. In football, I've been set with people who had conversations about guys who've been told, hey, you just got to go out and lose this game. You know, we'll make sure you get the big contract, because that's what it's all about at the end of the day. It's about money. So these conversations I had with players all the time, by coaches, by ownership. Hey, we got to keep the spread right here. So from this quarter, we just missed. These are professional basketball players. These guys don't know how to miss. They have to be taught how to miss. LeBron James, you probably seen him last night miss free throws, and the way he missed them was just totally ridiculous. Because he's told to miss free throws, and he's kind of got good at choking out the free throw. That's LeBron. He's good at choking out the free throw. But it looks horrible when they do it, especially if you see him do it live. I mean, you like, they ain't trying to shoot the free throw because they're not trying. They're trying to keep the point spread. So LeBron and the boys sell out the LA fans. They'll probably win one at home, but sell out the LA fans, losing by a numerology number score of 128 to the Portland Trail Blazers. Does this mean that the Lakers are doomed? No, because if you're paying attention, we're getting the Boston LA script right in front of our face. We're starting with baseball, and we could be headed to it in football with the Rams and possibly the Patriots. We're still getting this Boston LA script. So let's pay attention to the Boston LA narrative this year. Remember, I had talked about this last year, the recreation of the Boston LA rivalry. And you bring LeBron down there so you can start back the rivalry. They had already been planning this. If you've been watching HBO last year, you saw how they had all this focus on LA Boston and the rivalry. They had just been going back and forth with this LA Boston and the rivalry. So let's pay attention, but, don't, a lot of people get so vested in sports like we talk about. There's a lot of rigging that goes on in sports. And all you have to do sometimes is look at the numbers and you see it. The Charlotte Hornets game, perfect example of rigging. Once I saw Kemba Walker had 39, I knew Kemba was going for 41 because that's the 13 prime number. That day, if you go to Kemba Walker's name, Kemba equals 103. Remember, numerology, we always remove the 0 to give you 13. 41 to 13 prime number. He scores 41 points, then he doesn't score again. And they lose based upon that. They lose. And they took Tony Parker out the game. You already knew what time it was. Tony Parker had been in the game the whole time. So they were already setting up the defeat. But they hyped up their fans and Charlotte like, oh, they're coming back just so they can lose. Just so Kemba Walker can score his 41 points. And Kemba is getting good at point shaving. He is getting excellent at point shaving. That's why he's been in the league for so long, because he's good at point shaving. Got to be a good point shaver to stay in these leagues. Mr. Monkey, Back Row Ministry. Peace.